minute to go before we do our yoga with lots of push, lots of hands, lots of wrists. But today we're going to add in hamstrings. So how about we start standing today? Just for something a little different. Wiggle out those legs. Welcome to Thursday Yoga. We'll start there. I'm Sarah. If I haven't met you before, we are going to do a 40-minute yoga class where we try and hit all the parts of our body as we go. A little bit of breathing, a little bit of mind slowness. So to start, you can bring those feet about hip width apart. That gives you lots of stability. Shake out all those morning wiggles or, stiffness from sitting at a computer. Perhaps roll those shoulders a few times. And then as you reach those hands down, you can begin to gaze soft at the floor and close your eyes. And as we stand here in mountain pose, take a moment to feel where your feet are connecting with the mat. And see if you can balance your feet so you can feel all four corners. The big toe side, the pinky toe side, ball of the foot, the heel of the foot. So if you notice you're standing on the inside or the outside, see if you can balance that out. And raise your toes. Perhaps try and spread them. I don't really spread, but think about spreading them. Set them down. And then follow from that rooted connection, follow up to your knees. And perhaps put a little soft bend there. And then keep moving up your body to your hips, your pelvis. Maybe you want to think about a slight squeeze of the thighs and squeeze the glute muscles. Allow your belly button to draw in, your ribs to knit together almost like a corset. Reach those arms down, actively spreading your fingers, letting them release. And let your neck and your head rest on top, almost like there was a little backrest there. Gaze forward with those eyes closed. And see if you can feel the root in your feet, as well as the rise going up your spine and out the top of your head. So you feel connected to the ground and connected to the sky at the same time. We're rooting down and we're rising up to feel our body lengthen. And all together, exhale from your lungs. Inhale deep through the nose. And exhale long through the mouth. Push that air away, let the morning go. And take 2 intentional breaths through your nose, making each one a little bit deeper and a little bit longer than the one before. And then we'll sweep those arms down and up to the sides, reaching tall. Perhaps you want to open your eyes for balance. And again, feel the root of your foot. And then from that solid root of your feet, feel the rise up through your legs, through your hips, all the way through your side body, through your arms, through your fingertips, reach tall. Maybe you want to bring the gaze up to the ceiling, gaze through those fingertips. And then let's grab with the right hand, grab the left wrist, reach high and side bend over to the right. So we're thinking about reaching up and over a beach ball, really anchoring your left foot to the ground as you reach that left arm up and over. Allow your chest to stay proud to the front. And take an intentional breath, this side breath. Then we'll come up, reach high once again. This time we're going to take the left wrist to the right arm and side bend over to the right side. Go, keep that chest forward, taking an intentional breath. And we'll reach back up. Bring those arms, sweep them down and back, reaching behind you. Think about your shoulder blades coming together as you reach for those fingertips. Maybe you want to grab the fingertips or interlace the fingers. Bend the elbows, keep them bent, keep our elbows safe. Bring those shoulder blades together and reach those arms down and back behind you. Especially if we've been looking at the computer all morning, we don't usually do this. Start to open up our back, relax our neck. And then see how it feels to bring your chin to your chest, opening up the back of the neck while your arms are behind you. And then experiment with bringing that chin up toward the ceiling. Finding that intentional breath. Bringing the chin back to center. Releasing the arms, let's shake that out. And then do 3 big circles with the shoulders, going up and back, really big circles. Seeing if you can bring them forward, up to the ears and back. And then we'll switch and come forward, still making them really big, really emphasizing the forward and the back and up to shoulders. You can step your feet mat width apart, so nice and wide. Inhale those arms up nice and tall. Exhale, begin to forward fold down to the mat. Maybe you want to slightly bend your knees or not bend your knees. We're going to come all the way down. Feel in the back of my legs. Maybe you want to really bend your knees so your belly and your chest comes through. Relax your head and neck, let it hang. Maybe shake it a little, no. Loosen up the neck. And then shake it a little, yes. Ending with positive. Take your left hand and center it in front of your body, kind of below your shoulders. You're making a triangle with your 2 feet and your hand. Leaning forward on the balls of the feet onto your hand. Keeping those knees bent. And then lift up your right arm. So your left knee is really gonna bend, your right knee is gonna become straight. And we're doing a side twist. If you have blocks at home, you can also put a block underneath your hand. That will make this potentially feel a lot better. And then exhale, let's switch. Bring the right hand down to the center of the mat, bend the right knee, straighten the left, and swing up with that left hand. Chest comes to the side, you're broadening up in the side twist. And then picture yourself moving through molasses, and let's switch those with the breath. So perhaps inhaling for 1, bring that arm up. And then exhaling as you come to. So I like to bend one knee and straighten the other so you get that stretch in the legs as well as the upper back as you open up those arms. And maybe each twist as your body begins to warm up, it goes just a millimeter further than the one before. And after your next one, you can rest with those hands down toward the mat, knees bent, head hanging in this wider leg forward fold. Bend your knees a lot more, plant your hands on the mat, and we're gonna step back to plank on the knees. And as we're in plank on the knees, think about widening the fingers, index fingers forward, grip the mat with your fingertips, anchor your knuckles down between your fingers and your palms. Belly button to spine, ribs knit in, be nice and strong. Keep those elbows tucked beside your body as we go down to chaturanga. We're only gonna go down to our elbows being partway. We're not going all the way down to the mat. Hold it here, see if you can breathe. And then use that strength and push yourself back up to plank on the knees. Let's try that one more time. So it's like a push up with your arms coming behind you. Taking those arms behind you, lowering down to your arms are about 90 degrees. Hold for a breath. This takes a lot of strength we're developing here. And then push on up. Whew. We're gonna come back. Find your child's pose, widening your knees, big toes together. We're gonna come back, sit bones to heels, walking those hands forward, settling down into your child's pose. All together, let's exhale the air from the lungs. Inhale deep. Exhale long. Tense your fingers and begin to lift your forearms and shoulders off the mat, your chest off the mat. So your fingers are tented, your arms are actively engaged, but you're allowing your armpits to think about touching the ground. And just thinking about, mine aren't touching, just actively engaging my arms and dropping my chest. And then release that, come back to child's pose. Walking those hands back towards you as you sit up on your knees. Remember to sit high. And then beginning to lean back, taking those fingers, tenting them again. My fingers are facing toward my feet area. I'm leaning back, rolling those shoulders together, proud chest, gazes up. You can stay here. Or begin to squeeze your glute muscles and lift those hips up. So squeezing the glutes to lift the hips, feeling it potentially in your quads or a lot in your quads. Proud chest, maybe that's making you feel it in your arms. Finding that breath. Then we're gonna settle back down. Walking back up to our knees. Continuing forward to find your tabletop. And then your way to down dog. So I move my knees back a bit further, tuck the toes, begin to push the mat forward as I grip my fingertips, root down with my knuckles, and raise my hips nice and high. First down dog of the day, find a stance between your hands and your feet that feels like a comfortable challenge. If you're really far apart, it can feel like you're going to fall. And if you're super close together, it feels like forward fold. So take some time today to find the V shape of the down dog that feels like a challenge where your arms are being strengthened when you push the mat away. When the back of the legs are being stretched, when you lift the hips and let those heels be weighted toward the ground. And maybe you want to bend one knee and then the other. For me, this really opens up my calf muscles. Many years of wearing heels, my calf muscles are pretty short, even though I haven't worn heels in about 10 years. I think my teenage and 20 years just shrunk them up. So walking out that down dog, we're gonna look forward, keep those hips high, and make your way to the front of the mat in a forward fold. Those legs come together, bend your knees, belly button to thighs. You're gonna relax your head and neck over the legs, so arms can dangle. You can move your way to the front of the foot and slowly begin to lift your hips so you feel the stretch move in the back of your legs. It begins to move into your back, then just re-bend your knees, let the head hang, and slowly think about lifting your hips. Forward fold does not need straight legs. What it needs is a nice stretch in the back. And we can get that really nicely with bent knees. Come to a half lift, hands come to your shins, back comes long. You're reaching out with the crown of your head and reaching back with your hip bones. Almost like someone could have a tea party on your back. Think about your belly button coming towards your spine, your ribs coming together, your heart coming toward your chest. What we're doing there is engaging the core nice and strong. Then exhale, forward fold, bend the knees. Plant the hands on the ground, and let's step back with the right foot, lowering that back knee. You can always fold the mat in to give yourself a little padding on that back knee. We're going to come up to our lunge. What we're gonna do is reach those arms up nice and high, palms flat in front of us. And option number one is to reach high, grab that imaginary bar, and pull down with the arms, giving yourself resistance from your own body. And then inhale, reach up. Exhale, pull. Inhale, reach. And you have the option to keep doing that with the back knee planted. Or perhaps you want to tuck the back toes. And when you reach up, you're going to plant the back toes, reach up. And when you pull down, you're going to also push that back knee off the ground. So I push my heel back and that lifts my knee. And then exhale, lower back down to the mat as arms go up. So you can add the back leg there if you choose. In yoga, we all have different bodies. We're all at different points of our yoga journey, our life journey. So you get to pick, what do you want to focus on today? And after your next one, your last one, we're all going to drop the back knee. Bring the hands to the ground in front of us and toe heel, toe this front leg out so that we can make a wing with the leg. And this is our dragon wing, our lizard leg. If you have blocks at home, you can add those blocks underneath the hands to give you a little bit of height to help you stay up. And as we're in our upright dragon, or upright lizard, let's do an intentional breath together. So exhale the air. Inhale deep. Exhale long. Keep your front foot where it is off to the side, but begin to move your sit bones back towards your heels, making this front leg straight. So my leg is extended, but it's extended to the side of my mat. You can move those blocks underneath your hands to help you come up nice and tall. Think about a nice straight back. You can stay here. If you want to add a little bit more movement, if your body's saying to you, you can move a little bit more. Begin to hinge at the hip, keeping the back straight. And when your body doesn't want to hinge anymore, you can relax the head and neck and stay in this half forward fold. If you want to move a little bit today instead of staying still, you can think about flexing the foot, pulling the toes towards your face, and then pointing the foot, letting those toes reach toward the ground. And just notice as you flex your foot and point your foot, how that changes the sensation in the back of your leg. For me, flexing aggravates the back of my leg just a little bit. So I don't do it super intently. Make the observation about your own body today. And then slowly move forward back into the lizard lunge. Plant your hands on the ground on the inside of the foot. And then we're going to step that front leg back so that you're on plank on the knees once again. You can choose if you want to hold it here, if you want to take a little child's pose, or if you want to do 2 more chaturanga push-ups with me. So grip the fingertips with the mat, feel your root knuckles anchor down, belly button to spine, and then tucking those elbows behind you, begin to lower down so your arms are at 90 degrees. Hold for a moment, and then push yourself back up, using that strength. Option to do 1 more. Remember, you're doing you today, deciding what your body needs. Chaturanga push-ups, plank, child's pose. Whew. And then we're going to walk those hands back toward us, sitting on our knees once again. Maybe you want to roll those wrists after those little planks. Bring your hands behind you, fingers tent. Fingers are faced towards your knees. Begin to lean back, nice proud chest. Bring those shoulder blades together. Squeeze the glutes and lift the hips. Stretching out those quads. Nice proud chest, stretching the upper back. extending that breath. And then we're going to come down back to our heels, walk ourselves up. Walk your hands forward and find your way into your down dog. Spreading the fingers, rooting the knuckles down, rooting the fingertips down, tucking the toes, lifting the hips. So in down dog, once you're here, find the V that works for you. Not too long, not too short. Grip the mat with the fingertips. Anchor the knuckles down. Hug those arms together. And we're gonna lift those hips high and allow the weight to travel down the back of the legs to the heels. Down dog has a lot of cues. So I encourage you to pick one or two that speak to you and start with those one or two. And then over time, then you can add another cue every few weeks or so to your practice. Let's look forward. Begin to walk those feet to the front of the mat, bending the knees to find your forward fold. Half lift, hand comes to the shins. We're reaching that back long, belly button to spine. Extending the back, becoming that tea party, coffee table. Engaging the core, building some strength there. Then exhale, we're gonna bend our knees forward, fold, plant the hands. And this time we're gonna step the left foot back, dropping the back knee. You have the option to fold that mat underneath the knee. Finding your lunge. And then we're gonna reach the arms up, get ready to pull again. So inhale, exhale, pull the arms down, giving yourself resistance. Inhale, reach those arms up. And then exhale, pull with resistance. Option to tuck those back toes and add the leg lift if you choose. And if you don't like the drop, but you like the leg lift, you can do that. There's different options in all of these poses. And what you want to do is check in and think, is this a sensation my body wants? Am I building strength here? Or am I going into my red pain zone? That's not building strength, that would be damaging. So it's finding that Goldilocks spot of where you want to be. And after your next one, we're all going to drop the back knee. Bring the hands to the inside of the foot and toe, heel, toe that front leg out to the side, making your dragon wing, your lizard leg on the other side. You can put those blocks underneath your hands so that it's easier to stay up with that proud chest. Find your intentional breath here. You guys should let me know in the chat or after class, send me an email. Do you like the name dragon or lizard better? Depending which lineage of yoga you follow. If you haven't done those and you want to do a couple, feel free to do those. If not, we are going to move down onto our bellies into our Sphinx pose. So coming all the way down to your belly, walking those legs to the side of the mat. Elbows come under the shoulders, forearms come forward. Think about gripping with the fingertips, rooting the knuckles down, proud chest. Almost like you're dragging yourself forward to activate that upper back, the upper shoulders, and help your back down. And all together, let's exhale the air. Inhale deep. Exhale long. Perhaps feeling free to do a couple more breaths. Sometimes when things happen, like internet dropping, or a loud noise starting us, or, text message 507, and you're feeling overwhelmed, don't forget about the power of your breath. A short breath can help contribute to overwhelm. And if we can begin to lengthen our breath, even if that's difficult at first, that lengthened breath starts helping us physiologically to return to a more calm and peaceful, I can do this, everything's okay kind of state. And slowly, when you're ready, we're going to come down to our belly from Sphinx pose. Elbows come out to the side, palms stack. Rest your head on your palms. Really feeling the pressure point between your forehead and the palms. This is a great way to help assist your body in calming down. It's a pressure point. And with that pressure being applied to our forehead, you can even help it out a little bit and roll your forehead from side to side. I often say it's like rolling out that line between your eyebrows. If you're like me and that line likes to hang out there, rolling your forehead back and forth can help release that stress and tension in that space. Then we're going to reach the left arm forward, tenting the fingers, rising up. Take your right arm and thread it underneath your shoulder. And then you can slowly bring your head down. I like to bring my head to the side. And if your head doesn't touch the ground, you can take a pillow or a blanket or fold up your yoga mat to give you a little extra support with that head as we stretch the shoulder. Option to stay where you are or to add the leg. So we would be taking our right leg, the opposite leg as the way our arms are going, and slide it out the side as almost like a 4. So you're turning it so the inside of your leg is touching the floor. And you can have a short little turnout, potentially bringing your knee up so it's more like a 4. And if you don't like the pressure that brings on your shoulder, just bring the leg closer to straight. The higher up it is, the more pressure you're gonna find there. So find your Goldilocks spot and take an intentional deep breath. And we'll slowly begin to bring both legs back together. Press into the left hand and unwind your right arm. And then switching the right arm in front of us, tenting the fingers, lifting up, and sliding the left arm underneath. Coming down to the mat. You can always roll up that mat to give you support with your head. An option to add the left leg. Kind of rotate that leg out so the inner part of the leg is in contact with the ground. And you're bringing it up toward a 4 position. It doesn't have to be a 4, it can be longer, closer to straight. You have the power to experiment and find out which position you like best in this shoulder and hip opener. Taking an intentional deep breath to help your body settle in. Slowly moving that leg back to straight. You moved it. Press into your top hand and unwind your arms. Bring your hands by your chest to help you sit back up. We're gonna find another child's pose. So knees out wide, big toes together. Sit bones come toward the heels and walk your arms out long, allowing your chest and your belly to fall through, your head to rest down. Perhaps noticing how this child's pose near the end of class may feel slightly different than the one we did at the beginning of class. All together, let's exhale the air. Inhale deep. Exhale long. Taking the hands and walking yourself up and back to that seat. We're gonna flip over onto our sit bones and come into cross-legged seat if that feels good, maybe on your knees. Maybe you wanna put a cushion underneath your sit bones. Allow that root to sit down nice and firm. Root the sit bones. And from that rooted place, allow your spine to stack and rise toward the ceiling. Those vertebrae sit nice and tall on top of each other, stacking like Lego. And then reaching those arms up to the sky. So now you're rising up even more. But checking in that you can still feel the root of the sit bone. Begin to twist towards your right, using your active mobility. We're not using any extra effort here or any extra force. We're just using our body all by itself. And then release the right hand behind you. Left hand goes towards your thigh. And if you choose, maybe you want to add a little bit of extra help in that twist. Only if it feels good. Inhaling the spine tall. Exhale, feel the root of your sit bones to the floor. We'll slowly come back to center. Lift those hands up high one more time. Finding that root to rise sensation. And then begin to twist to your left, using your own body. Just a subtle twist, keep moving. And then left hand comes behind, right hand comes to your leg. Maybe add a little bit of leverage there if it feels good. Remember, you want to move tomorrow, so stay within that Goldilocks place. Inhaling the spine long. Exhale, feeling the root. Embracing root to rise and the seated twist. And we'll come back to center. Hands rest on the lap. Eyes can close. Moving your focus to the top of your head. Slowly scan through your body and see how today's practice affected you. Are there any little vibrations that you're feeling? Echoes of poses? Any areas of openness peeking out? And notice the space between your thoughts, the speed of your thoughts. Has that changed at all? And some days that might be noticeable, some days not so much. But just practicing our observation, gathering information just about you. Bring our hands together at heart center, feel the palms and the fingers touch. Tuck your chin in just a little. And take this moment to think of one thing today that you are proud that your body does for you. Body has all got us through this class. Got us from the cold weather into this warm space, wherever you are right now. And all together, let's exhale the air. Inhale deep. Exhale long. Letting go of class. Let those eyes open when you're ready. Thank you for joining me on this Thursday lunch hour and staying with me through the Zoom outage. If you have any questions, comments, send us an email at wellness. If you want to check us out on the replay on YouTube, feel free to do that and leave us questions and comments there as well. Have a lovely Thursday, and we'll see you next week.